when I started to grow up, and like I want to say it's like middle school when I started to get these inklings of like wanting to be on TV. That's, I knew it wasn't really so much about like acting at first. I just knew I'd like watch TV and I wanted to be on TV. And this is when obviously we didn't have like iPhones and stuff, so it was like the, you know, the computer in the living room. And I remember just like sitting on there and like Googling like acting camps, and it would take me to all these acting camps across the like California and all these places. And I kind of opened the conversation with my parents, and they had no idea like how to help me. They had no concept.
And it
of,
just
like,
came out of nowhere,
yeah,
right?
like genuinely. I mean, I was always the weird kid in general. They always would be like, they're like, you know, we never listened to the Beatles, and you did. Like in middle school, you would be like listening. They were like, you download your own music online. It was like the Beatles and like all these old bands that like our parents listened to. Like not, and they're like, we don't know where you came from.
Old soul.
Yeah, apparently. And so, and with that came, like I said, this, I don't know. I always say it was just innate, because not like I had any exposure to it. Not like we had a ton of TV and film industry at that time. So it came from somewhere else. And it
maybe
was
one of
planted.
your ancestors they were a big actor
I
somewhere.
know. Like the best we got was that like my grandpa was a musician.
Oh,
And so
okay.
I sing as well. So it's like that was part of it. And we kind of just marry that in with performance. Like, so, but we all played sports, me and my siblings. I played soccer my whole life. And then when this kind of started to creep in, I was lucky going to Kamehameha schools. We actually had a theater program. So freshman year was the time I didn't tell anybody. I didn't even tell my parents. I knew there were auditions for the high school play, and I auditioned for, we were doing Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, and I auditioned to just, I don't even know what I auditioned for, but I ended up getting in. I was the only freshman in there.
Nice.
I was like Candy Girl number 3 or something, but that was like where the seed was planted, and it really, it was striking to me how much I enjoyed it, because like, again, it was like sports. I mean, I danced like hula when I was really tiny. Then we got into soccer, and it was just like straight soccer for the rest of my life. And so, yeah, I don't know. It just kind of stuck. And then when I was doing high school, you know, Kamehameha, we got a college prep. We did a lot of college prep, and I didn't want to go to college. Like I just knew I didn't. I don't know why. Nothing about it. I didn't know what LA had to offer. I didn't know what this industry had to offer. I just knew I wanted to do it. I always like say, like, I think back on it, and I was like, dang, I was crazy, because really, like, I had no concept, and my parents were crazy that they were so supportive, because I know my mom really wanted me to go to college. She did, but she gave me the freedom to explore this idea and to feel this like passion, and my dad just, he loves that kind of stuff, so he was all about it. And when I just started to really do the research and show them, like, here's the steps that I'm going to take to get there, you know. And I was lucky. I actually went to LA like my senior year of high school. Me and my mom, we went out there and we did some workshops, and you get to meet like managers and agents and stuff. And I met an agent out there who talked to me, who actually, I don't even remember who they are. Whoever you are, thank you. They told me, they're like, if you don't want to go to college, don't go to college. They were like, in our industry of film and television, at the end of the day, no one really cares if you have a degree in acting or not. You know, it's like, it's talent. They're
Can
like,
you act or not?
Yeah, exactly. They're like, take your money that you were going to spend on college, put it to acting classes, like, you know, training in that sense, put it to your headshots, and you're going to need to survive between auditions.
Yeah.
So, I mean, and whoever you are, you gave me the best advice, because I mean, that stuck with me, and I was just like, okay. And on that trip was like the first time I feel like my mom finally saw me in action, and she was like, oh wait, she's kind of good at this. So I felt that turn in her, that she was like fully present then, of like being supportive of it. And yeah, and then after senior year I graduated, and then I just moved to LA. Wow. I was super lucky. I had like family friends out there that they weren't even close family friends too. They were like really distant, and they allowed me to come live with them, have my little transition period there of getting used to California, because it was very, very different. Like, we kind of traveled growing up, but you know, a trip is a different thing than living there. And like, I even remember the first time I went to LA, like when I was older, that it was just like such a culture shock, but it was like, oh, you leave, you go back home.
Mm-hmm.
Now living there and it being my full time, and then not only living there but living by myself. I was, no parents. They tried their best. They came, they helped, they got me set up, but they had to go back home, and I was just there, and I just kind of stumbled through it. I figured it out somehow. I had a lot of help. I was lucky that I signed with my management like as soon as I moved to LA. I was really lucky to do that. And they're actually still my management till today. And I have them, and they've been such great people, just kind people, which is not always easy to find out there.
Yeah.
And then, going through everything, it was, God, it was hard. It was exhausting. It's really exhausting to get used to such a different world.
LA's so different.
It's so different. And like, again, back then, yeah, I mean, I know there were other Polynesians there, Hawaiians, but so little, and we just all didn't know each other. We didn't know how to find each other. So it was just lonely. Like, you're just kind of put into this. It's such a rat race, and I was so young, and I give my younger self credit for withstanding and pushing through and staying that long till I got my footing of realizing, like, okay, I can do this. Like, it took a lot of guts, because it still takes me guts to this day. It's not easy, man. I mean, that's the crazy part of this industry. There's just never any stability in it.
That's what I hear.
So it's just constant of like, gotta try, gotta keep trying. Even when you start to feel secure, don't feel too secure.
Yeah, a lot of no's, right?
So many no's. Like, yeah, people don't, like my parents, they don't understand how I can do it. Like, I don't understand how I don't understand how I can do it, honestly. It's like, you have to find a way to almost, what we as actors have to kind of boil it down to is being so just sure about ourselves and our talents and be secure in it that not everyone's going to see it or understand it. And it's just the idea of you're not going to be right for every role. So it's like, when you have that and you really kind of, and it takes years to kind of secure that in your brain, you kind of get to a point where you're like, okay, it's fine. Like, I know I'm good at this. I know I've trained for this. I know I'm prepared for this. So everything else is out of my control, and I kind of have to just keep doing me, and what clicks.
Yeah. I think when you want something really bad and you have that goal, nothing's going to stop you.
Yeah.
Nobody's going to tell you no, and you're not going to believe like you're not good enough because somebody tells you no. I think I've had multiple points in my life where I just had this goal that I wanted to achieve, and I was just hyper focused, and nothing could stop me. Pandemic, critics, nothing. Just you keep going, you keep
look at
waking
up.
Yeah. I guess I didn't really have much pushback for the podcast. The podcast is something kind of just like happened. But like other times in life, there's hardships and not even like people telling you no, but just like struggles just to get to the goal.
It's hard.
It's takes a lot of discipline and drive and self-motivation. That's the hardest part, because like when nobody's telling you like what to do, like nobody's telling you you don't have to wake up in the morning and like go to a class. You don't have to study for this. So when nobody's telling you to do that, that's hard, and that all comes from you.
For sure. It just took like time to develop that discipline, and realizing that the only person that's going to do it is yourself. So it's like, I learned a lot by watching other people. I was surrounded by a lot of talented actors. I got to work with a really talented coach that he really just like nailed that in. Like, you have to show up for yourself. You need to put in the work. You cannot, they would always just tell you, you cannot sit around and wait for a call from your agent. Like, that's what they would always say, because genuinely that in our industry, you can't, especially nowadays more than ever. Like, we're in a very weird, tough spot. A lot of people know we went through strike recently, and the idea that was going to be like, when we come back from strike, everything's going to come back like full force. Everyone's going to be so busy, and it just didn't. A lot changed in strike. A lot changed with the new rules, and like a lot of people are feeling the hurt. So it's still kind of such a strange time. So right now is the idea of putting in the work, putting in your training again, starting to be creative. A big part of where I'm at in my career right now is deciding that we have to create our own things. We cannot wait for the opportunities. We can't wait for Hollywood to call or like bring in things. So many people here in Hawaii are starting to realize we're such collaborative people in Hawaii in general. We're so Ohana, we're so about that. Why would we not trickle that over into our work? Let's just do that. There's so many, you know, it's like, hey, you own a camera and you want to be behind the camera. I want to be an actress. She wants to be a writer. Let's work together. Let's make something. And so it's so exciting to see that that is happening. I mean, like, so many different circles. That's all everyone's talking about. And like, independent films are going to be the future right now. If studios and networks aren't going to be making shows and buying shows, then we're just going to have to make it ourselves. And I think that's the beauty of that creative liberty, is that we get to control it. That's like what Wind in the Reckoning was for us. That's what, is it harder? Yeah. Is it more of a struggle as an artist? For sure. But you get such creative liberty. And when it comes to telling our stories here in Hawaii, we need that, because it's like we've seen time and time again, productions coming through, telling our stories, or using our people, or using our land to tell these stories, and we have no creative control over it. So it's like, that's why we end up so angry that it's like, when it comes out to the world, it's like, that's not representing us. That's not representing our stories, our land, our people. So it's like, the only way to change that is that we control the narrative. And so it's like, being independent from these studios sometimes when it comes to our stories, I don't always think is a bad idea, you know, because like when in the Reckoning, we had such control over it to do what we pleased. And I think that's why I was able to walk away from that project happy and proud. And I think that's why there's such a great response from so many people, feeling good that this actually did a good job to accurately display us as Hawaiians, as our history, you know, this true story. So I'm really excited to see how this can keep going, because I see everyone like starting to have that interest.
The eyes are
opening. They're all like, and it's like, wait, you want me? We? And so it's like, I think everyone's going to just take that jump soon, and there's going to be so much, there's going to be this little boom here in Hawaii. It's like, and we're just so tired of it. We're so sick and tired of waiting. Like, in my career, even with all my success, like, I'm still waiting, you know, it's still a struggle. It's still trying to figure it out of like, you know, where is our place? Like, do we have a seat at the table yet? You know, are we still fighting for that seat at the table? We as Hawaiians are especially we're just behind in general for this industry, and we know that, but we're trying to catch up and try to lessen that gap between us and everybody else, you know.
Totally. Yeah. Do you mind moving your mic a little bit closer to you? Yeah.
Right there?
Yeah, we can angle it a little bit towards you. Yeah, right there.
There you go.
Okay, cool. I usually say shaka length.
Oh,
yeah.
Oh, I can go further then.
Okay, cool. Oh, maybe it just looks far from my angle.
Okay.
Okay, cool. I just want to make sure it's good.
Okay.
But okay, so a couple things that I've been keeping note of. Have you watched High School Musical, and did that play a role in you signing up for the musical as a freshman?
I totally watch High School Musical. I think it would be wrong if I didn't watch High School Musical.
Complete the sentence. Living in my own world.
Oh, I know it, but I can't figure it out. Hold on. You remember like Textured? Textured came earlier. Okay, wait. I know, but what do they say?
You understand?
Hey, I feel like you want to finish the sentence.
I'm just trying to help you.
No. Cut the cameras. I'm kidding.
Cut this out, Jordan. Yeah. She's a fake High School Musical fan.
I would say, hey, you didn't say if I was a fan. I said I watched it.
That's true. You got me there. I was just wondering. Big High School Musical fan. That's what I grew up on that. Yeah.
Oh my God. Yeah. I mean, I did. The first one was the one I really watched. That was like my time. And then the second one, and then there's a third, right?
I think so.
Yeah.
But you were probably pretty young when the first one came out.
Yes.
Because I think it came out when I was like in middle school, or like maybe high school-ish.
What year was it?
Yeah.
What year did High School Musical come out?
I don't know. That's a good question.
Google?
Yeah, this is what we have Google for.
Yeah.
But I've just been a big Zac Efron fan ever since then. Got mad respect for him.
Zac.
Yeah.
Sharpay.
Oh, all of them. Yeah. Gabriella, 2006. Yeah, so I was in high school.
6?
Yeah.
No way.
Oh, I was middle school. Sorry.
I was like high school. Wait a second.
I was middle school. Well, I'm 31. Okay. So I was like probably 7th grade, I think.
Yeah. I'm 29, so.
Yeah. So you're 5th grade. You're right about to go into finishing elementary school.
Yep.
Yeah.
That was when?
That's crazy, right?
That's so weird. I mean, I guess that makes more sense why we would have loved that, because that's like prime time of like a show like that.
Yeah, that's when it was like Vanessa Hudgens, Gabriella, and then that was like our crush, and then Zac Efron was a girl's crush, so it's like,
oh my God,
it just made sense. But anyways,
bringing memories
back. I was just wondering if maybe you had like a High School Musical moment.
Yeah, I know. I don't know. I always try to think like, what was the show that got me? I mean, I totally grew up watching two things. We either watched a ton of like rom-coms, like 2000s, a lot of those. So those are like that's my heart right there. What I want to like write and things like that. And then we watched all like the procedurals growing up. So we were just like NCIS and 24 and all those, CSI, New York, like LA, whatever. I mean Las Vegas, it was like constant of that type of stuff. So I'm like, I don't really know if either one of those would have been like, I know for me that when you ask me what's my favorite movie of all time, it's 13 going on 30.
Okay.
So that's like my core movie of like, I still want to. So as I also write, so that has been my, like I said, my new passion within all this world. It really kind of sparked during strike when we couldn't work. I started to write, and that kind of came out of necessity of just, as an actor, I realized I wasn't getting roles that I wanted to actually do, wasn't getting the type of stories that I wanted to tell. So I was like, oh, I'll just write them myself. But then, so one of the big things that I want to write is like a rom-com of that 13 going on 30 essence, but like based in Hawaii. So it's like, that's something I really, I'm working on.
Okay, something like young girl going to Ante.
Yeah.
Like, it's just like a regular girl. Just as the show goes on, she just gets more Hawaiian bangles on her wrist. Her tita comes out a little bit more. Her hair starts down at the end of the film. It's just a tita bun. Something like that, right?
The biggest one you ever seen.
The biggest one you've ever seen. Yeah. So maybe something like that.
Maybe we gotta work together.
We'll collaborate. Yeah.
So you gotta cut that. We can't tell the world before they take
our
our
we'll bleep
idea.
that out.
Yeah.
It'll just be like, right as we're starting, it'll be like,
it's the idea. Yeah, it's like, and that's good. That's the movie.
Exactly.
And it's gonna make a lot of money.
Yeah, we'll get back to that.